John Allen is a columnist for Roll Call. He's in our Washington bureau. John, I want to start by asking you about the overall tone of Wednesday's press conference. This seemed to be more of a campaign-style Trump, but what do you make of how that news conference unfolded?
Well, he certainly hasn't pivoted from being combative with the press, as John Dickerson was pointing out in that interview with Scott Pelley. This is part and parcel of his strategy. It's how he talks to his base. A lot of the people who voted for him don't believe in the media. It's just another institution that they think is working against them. And that has some value to a certain extent. But the minute that Donald Trump's popularity starts to tank, and with all presidents it goes up and down, when it goes down, he'll need the mainstream media to be able to get his message out. So it is interesting to me that he has not chosen to go, let's say, a little more presidential, a little more high road. But perhaps things will change a little after January 20th, or maybe they won't.
Well, in terms of Mr. Trump's business announcement, critics say he's fallen short of a meaningful and ethical separation. You tweeted, quote, "You can find fault if you really want to, but real Donald Trump appears to have done much more than necessary on the ethics front here." Explain what you mean by that, John.
Well, first, let me say that I've changed my view after taking a little bit deeper of a look. But as I was watching the press conference, the thing that struck me is I hadn't expected him to do anything to separate himself from his business. He had made the point earlier in the process that the president really is exempted from conflict of interest laws. So I was surprised that he was taking any steps in the first place. I still think that, both he has done more than perhaps he needed to by the letter of the law, and yet a lot less than he should do in terms of reassuring the American public that the interests of the United States come first, foremost, and solely.
Well, something our Major Garrett asked Mr. Trump about his Supreme Court picks. Mr. Trump said he's ready to announce his choice in 2 weeks, and recently he's indicated he's whittled down the list to 3 or 4. How do you see this playing out?
I think there's going to be a huge fight on Capitol Hill. None of the people on the list that he had produced earlier in the campaign are people that would get an easy ride from Democrats. I expect this nomination to be made in time to be able to have some hearings potentially in March. I think you can expect that whoever he picks will come from one of two camps that overlap. Social conservatives or business conservatives. Right now, one of the big changes that George W. Bush made on the Supreme Court in making his selections was to tilt the court a little bit more business-friendly from where it had been. I would be surprised if Donald Trump didn't follow suit, given his background.
Well, Major also asked Mr. Trump about another of his campaign cornerstones, a border wall. He said Mexico in some form, and there are many different forms, will reimburse us. So from Mr. Trump's vantage point, John, what do you think the potential strategies for that might be?
Look, I think he wants to bully Mexico into changing its relationship with the United States. Number one, rewriting NAFTA at some point. Number two, building this Mexican wall, or I guess reverse that. The wall is more important to him than NAFTA. But I think he's trying to bully Mexico. I think he's trying to drive down the Mexican economy to the point that Mexico, cries uncle. And we'll see if that's a successful strategy. What we know right now, though, is the new Mexican Foreign Secretary has said there is no way under the sun that Mexico is going to pay for this wall. He said that he was willing to negotiate with Donald Trump about a lot of things and perhaps be cooperative about a wall, but certainly not about paying for it. And the United States, while it has a lot of levers, the Foreign Secretary of Mexico said this isn't a matter about the economy. It's not about money. This is about national sovereignty and dignity.
Well, lastly, John, what is your sense of Mr. Trump's attitude towards the intelligence community at this point?
Well, I think he picked a fight with the intelligence community, and they've fought back with this 35 pages that BuzzFeed ended up publishing. You can criticize that decision, and I think there are reasons to criticize it. Certainly, Ben Smith, the editor-in-chief of BuzzFeed, thinks that that putting it out there once it's been discussed is, an act of transparency for their readers. But at the end of the day, what we're seeing is the way in which the intelligence community is going to fight back against Donald Trump if he picks fights with them. George W. Bush was not successful in terms of trying to throw the intelligence community under the bus when he was president. He faced a lot of resistance and ended up backing off and having a sort of different view of the relationship by the end of his presidency. And we'll see whether Donald Trump is able to break the intelligence agencies, as he's basically said he's going to do, and restructure them, or perhaps give a lot of that authority to the Pentagon. That's my suspicion, is that he's going to end up trying to move more of our intelligence agencies and more of their responsibility into the Pentagon.
All right. John Allen in Washington for us. Good to see you, John. Thanks.
Take care, Elaine.